will be joined later momentarily by Broncos gymnast Taylor Jacobs, who is injured tonight and will not be competing. We'll talk to her as soon as the teams are introduced. She'll be up here. Here they come. We got a wrestler. We got Corey Fish bringing in a couple of gymnasts. Is very excited here tonight at Taco Bell Arena. The wrestlers have got to be tired. They just got done wrestling against the Aggies, but they're pumped, they're excited, they're ready to go, ready to take on the Stanford Cardinal wrestling team, who is ranked lower in the Pac-10. The Bronco wrestling team is in the Pac-10 and has been in the Pac-10 for almost a decade now. They have, after their victory over UC Davis, they're now 9-3 overall with a 5-2 Pac-10 conference record. So they'll be going up against Stanford, who's 6-5 overall with a 4-1 Pac-10 conference record. So as we finish up our introductions here, get ready for the excitement to begin. Stanford's wrestling team is a little different than the UC Davis team. UC Davis had all of their wrestlers coming from within the state of California. Stanford, however, has some wrestlers. They've got a guy from Kansas, Tanner Gardner, their 125 wrestler. Matt Kim is a freshman from Westland, Oregon at 141. Got Tyler Parker, 149 weight class from Georgia. We've got a wrestler from Ohio, Missouri, and Luke Feist, a sophomore from Sandpoint, Idaho, as we take a break for our national anthem. Introductions done, and the national anthem out of the way, we're getting ready for competition. Got a little bit of a different setup tonight with both teams in here. Excuse me. Typically the balance beam competition for the gymnasts is over on the left side of the arena. Tonight it's over near the parallel bars as everything is kind of crammed together so we can bring both nights of competition to you. And I see Taylor working her way over here. She's on crutches, and find out what her injury is, and we'll get ready to do this.
And we begin tonight at 125 pounds for Stanford, Tanner Gardner, and from Boise State, Corey Fish.
And wrestling is underway. How's it going, Taylor? Thanks for joining us.
Hello. Just adjusting these for real quick.
Not a problem. So over there on the wrestling floor, we got Corey Fish and Tanner Gardner going in the 125 weight division as we wait for the gymnasts to get started. Boise State's going to start off on the springboard. And Southern Utah will begin the competition tonight over on the parallel bars.
Yep.
So fill us in on your injury, Taylor.
2 weeks ago in San Jose, I was competing on the floor exercise, and I tore my Achilles. And I had surgery last Friday, so I'm on my way on the road to recovery.
Is that a season-ending injury?
Yes, it is. Unfortunately, it's about 8 months till I'm fully back in action. So.
Well, and will you be able to use this year as a redshirt year?
Hopefully they're trying. I don't know all the specifics, but my head coach Sam Sandmeyer is kind of in charge of that. Haven't found out for sure, but should hear soon. So.
Good. Good luck with that.
Thank you. I'm hoping to get it.
So, as we take a look at some of our gymnasts warming up, getting ready to go, they get 2 run-throughs on the board?
Yes, on the uneven bars, balance beam and core exercise, they have 3 minutes. But on vault, they have 2 times over the horse, even if that takes longer than 3 minutes. So, and even touching the horse counts as a turn.
So even if you have a missed jump and
yeah, the girls were at BYU last week, and in an odd thing, one of the BYU girls did a run by and didn't want to hit the judges' table and accidentally brushed the vault.
Oh, really?
And it counted as one of her warm-ups.
And did that work in your favor?
Unfortunately, that girl did not compete because she didn't get her full warm-ups, and they still did well. They got all their 5 scores because you get to drop 1. So.
And we were here last time you guys had a meet in town, and it was actually against BYU.
It
was a close meet. They ended up edging you guys. How did the tournament in San Jose turn out? Is that where you injured yourself?
Yes. It obviously didn't go according to plan.
Yeah.
Because I was supposed to compete all around, got hurt on my first event, so they had to make do with the only 5 girls in on the bars. They did pretty well, but we're hoping to see a lot of improvements tonight. There's going to be a lot of upgrades that the girls have been working on in the last 2 weeks. So
good.
You should see a lot more bigger skills.
Excellent.
Tonight.
Excellent. Some
big gymnastics tonight.
Stanford chooses down to begin the second period.
They're not tricks. What?
Skills.
Skills.
Yes.
Skills. Okay. So we should see some skills with high levels of difficulty tonight
Yes.
for the Broncos.
Yes. On all apparatuses,
Excellent.
all 4. So
Excellent.
it should be a good meet for the girls. We're glad to be back home. We had 2 weeks of back-to-back meets. So they're glad to be home, and we love Beauty and the Beast. It's by far our favorite meet of the entire year. So.
Yeah, it's a great turnout tonight. A lot of fans here to see you guys, to see the wrestling team.
Yes, we think that works in our favor. We like having the big crowd, so
Yeah.
it excites us.
Definitely.
Plus, at the bigger meets like WAC and regionals, there'll be a bigger crowd to deal with.
So you kind of get used to having more people
More
around
people.
and more noise, more distractions.
Exactly.
Which, as a gymnast, has got to be very, very tough. There's a lot of mental focus needed for a lot of the skills, and
Yes.
it seems like too much noise can be very distracting.
Gymnasts, warm-up period has expired. Stall warning, Boise State.
Hopefully not. Hopefully we're so far into our groove that we don't even notice it.
Yeah, and you guys are fairly late into your season. When do your WAC conference championships start?
Conference is, I believe, the 3rd week of March. Southern Utah here tonight is a WAC conference member, so
And have you gone up against them yet?
not this year. This will be the first time we compete against them this season.
Great.
They're actually hosting the WAC championships.
Oh, okay. The scoreboard is turned off for the wrestlers, and I can't get a score on what's going on over there. But Corey Fish right now is on his back against Stanford's Tanner Gardner. Not sure what the score is. Looks like Gardner may have a 4-1 lead on Fish over there. And
Boise State chooses down to begin the third period.
the gymnasts have done all their passes and are getting ready to go over here on the vault. And
Looks like Southern Utah's just started on the bars.
And is there anyone to look out for against Southern Utah? Do they have any standouts?
Freshman Elise Wheeler looks to be highly ranked on all events.
Wheeler was named the WAC Gymnast of the Week last week with her performance against the University of Utah on Friday night. So
It's interesting. She actually comes from the club Sega in Southern California, and that is where Bronco gymnast and freshman Yvette Lesrek is also from.
okay,
So
they're
some club rivalry
are they
going
friends,
on.
rivals?
They are friends. They are friends. Interesting story on Elise. She actually made a comeback. Decided to stop for a while.
Oh, really?
And
How
came back to the sport.
how difficult is that?
I honestly think that would be very difficult. I heard for her it was pretty easy. Obviously, they took getting in shape, and I've heard that she kept in shape. She ran track in high school, so she was in good shape.
So do you know how long her hiatus was from gymnastics and how long?
I don't
how
know.
long
I
she
know
was
it was
out?
a few years. Here on the vault is Raquel Turnbow, freshman.
She's the first Broncos gymnast to go tonight, and
That was a very good vault.
looked like she kept her legs together well, had good form.
Yes, she's hopefully planning to upgrade that to a tuck full or a layup full by the end of the season, but
And
she's been working it in the gym consistently. They just don't want to put it in too soon.
And what was the level of difficulty on that?
On this one that she just competed was a 9.8 start value. You want to have 10.0 start values on all your lineups, I guess.
It looks like one of the judges gave her a 9.8, so she had, or maybe is that just the card to show the start value?
Up next is Ruthie Pennington, freshman, who seems to be really stepping it up this year on the vault and the floor.
You guys have a really young team, don't you?
Yes, very young.
A lot of freshmen.
We thought we had a lot of freshmen last year when there were 6 of us. So this year,
well, it's good to keep the team young and building it. It's great for the future.
It is. A 9.6 for Raquel Turnbow.
So not bad. Those points lost on the landing.
Yes, the landing. They looked for the form in the air, but she had great form. Here goes Ruthie. Little bit of a big step. Huge vault, though. She should get a decent score for her height in the air.
Yeah, again, really good form there in the air, and just a little bit. Looks like she shot a little too far on the landing there, but kept her feet and hopefully won't lose too many deductions.
Up next is another freshman, Yvette Lesrick, who's also having a very good season on 3 events. Should be competing on 3 events tonight.
And how many gymnasts do you guys have going with all 4 events tonight? It seems like last time we did it, there was 1 or 2. Diabra Todd.
Diabra, I think, is in the back in the all-around tonight. She's our only all-arounder.
And
While
another freshman?
Yvette is on 3 events, so that's the next closest.
Diabra is a freshman.
Diabra is a freshman
from Atlanta.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Very energetic, I noticed last time. She was dancing the whole time.
Really gets the crowd going.
Yeah.
She really brings a lot of energy to the
Seems like she has a lot of fun. And really feeds off the crowd, so hopefully tonight will be an advantage for her.
Yes, definitely. Sometimes for Diabra, though, she's had a little trouble staying on her events. Needs to calm down a little bit when it comes to the actual event, but she really has great energy.
And how does that affect her teammates? Does that they seem to feed off that as well, off of her energy?
I was in the back cheering with them before we marched out, and Diabra was definitely leading the party back there. The energy back there was amazing, and we hope to carry that throughout the whole meet. So
great.
The girls are really excited tonight. Up next, sophomore Shanice Kraft. She's the reigning WAC vault champion.
And it looks like she's starting with a 10.0 difficulty on this vault. What does she have planned?
Yurchenko layout full, same as last year, which she won with.
Okay.
She's been looking great, so hopefully she can continue to do that. Her warm-ups look really amazing.
And it looks like her top score this year is a 9.875, which is against BYU, I believe.
Yes, I think that was a home meet.
She gets ready to come down the vault, and
a 9.55 for Yvette Lesrick. Had a little bit of a low landing, but they gave her the 10.0 start.
And here comes Shanice.
She's really been working that landing, and it really seems to be working for her. That was an amazing vault.
Great form in the air, solid landing.
That was huge for Shanice. All year she's been working the sticking of the landing. Mainly the only thing she really can work to improve that vault, and it really worked. That was a lot closer. Good chest up. She should get a good score.
Boise State has choice.
And it seems like the landing is, I mean, obviously getting up in the air and getting the rotations is difficult, but it seems like a lot of points are won or lost with the landing.
Yes, the landing's the last thing the judges see, and it ultimately can be the biggest make or break score-wise on the vault. Goes by so quickly that's obviously the last thing they see.
So a 9.825 for Shanice.
Up next is Diavra Todd, who vaults out of this world.
She looks a little dazed right now, but there's that smile, and here she goes.
Fierce look. A little bit of a hot, but that vault was amazing in the air. It was huge.
And again, another 10.0 difficulty start for the Bronco gymnast here.
Looks like back into the lineup tonight is Kristen Aldrich on the vault. She had a bit of a setback on this event. She's only doing a layout Yurchenko tonight. Hopefully in the next few weeks she'll get her full back. Only been vaulting for about a week now.
Oh, really? So she's a senior.
She is a senior. She was in the all-around last year, which really confident in the fall. Had a little bit of a setback, and they wanted her to be back, at least on the balance beam. She really changed after that. Got back on the beam, started at one event at a time, got back on the floor, so our coaches let her start training vault.
And did she face an injury last year?
In the fall, she did.
Okay.
A minor, not season ending, but it could have been at the right time.
Enough to set her back in a couple of events.
Yeah, that was a really good vault.
Good form in the air.
Now she's just doing a layout, but they put her in for experience for when she does do that full, to hopefully be ready for that landing. Upgrading from just a layout to a full twist is very difficult.
So was she in competition there, or was that?
That was in competition. Up next for exhibition is Amber.
Okay.
Narrows.
Okay. Amber's a sophomore from Dallas, Texas.
She actually tore her Achilles last year.
Is that a pretty common injury among the gymnasts?
It's not. They say it's not, especially in girls. It's actually common in men over 40, from what I hear.
Really?
But I guess for us it was. But she's looking good. Her senior year of high school, she won the vault in the JO competition.
And the score on the bars for Southern Utah, Elise Wheeler, 9.75.
She usually does a full, but I think she's only doing a layout tonight. Couple steps, but better form in the air for Amber.
And as we look at the scores, looks like BSU has a slight advantage in the early goings, with the Southern Utah Thunderbirds putting up some lower scores over on the parallel bars, and the Bronco gymnasts sticking their vaults, so the Broncos are off to a good start.
So far, Jess Langley leads the Thunderbirds with a 9.7. I'm not sure what Diavra scored, but Shanice leads with a 9.825.
Yeah, and the lowest score is dropped, so right now that's going to be Yvette Lazaruk's 9.55 as we wait for Diavra's score and Kristen's score. The Bronco wrestling team has a 6-3 lead over the Stanford Cardinal wrestling team, so they're off to another good start, as it looks like they're in their third match right now with that Jeff Newby going up against Matt Kim. Both wrestlers locked up. And Newby, who won his match in the last meet against UC Davis, has a 4-point lead now on Matt Kim, a freshman from Oregon, wrestling for Stanford. So
That completes the first rotation.
after the first rotation in the gymnastics, Deavra Todd scored a 9.8 and Kristen Aldrich scored a 9.57. So 9.575. So Yvette Lazaruk's score will be dropped, and the Broncos have a slight advantage over the Southern Utah University Thunderbirds going into the second rotation.
Yes, the team totals look to be 48.45 for the Broncos on the vault and a 48.025 for the Thunderbirds on bars.
And with the scoring system in gymnastics, those decimal points are pretty important, aren't they?
They are. They're very important. It can come down to, last year, we lost WAC championships by 0.2 to Sacramento State. So
it's got to be.
I mean, a fall is 0.5.
Yeah.
A big step is 0.2.
So Bronco gymnasts move over to the parallel bar.
And again, they'll have 3 minutes to warm up, while the Thunderbirds have 2 times over the vault for each girl.
At 149 pounds for Stanford.
And in wrestling, Jeff Newby defeated Matt Kim, giving the Broncos a 9-3 lead over the Cardinal. And right now on the floor, we've got Cam Jones taking on Tyler Parker, a sophomore from Lawrenceville, Georgia, as we take a look at the gymnasts getting ready to take on the parallel bars.
2-point takedown, Stanford.
And have you faced a major injury before, Taylor? Is this
is about
for
my
you?
third major injury. When I was 13, I broke my ankle and had surgery for that, putting 2 screws in my ankle, and then a year later I had the screws taken out. So it wasn't my first time having surgery. Then my senior year of high school, after I committed to Boise State, I dislocated my elbow, which I thankfully didn't have to have surgery for, but it was by far the most painful, in my opinion. The Achilles one wasn't as painful.
Really? And what event was the elbow?
I was on the bars.
The bars?
A pretty common injury is a toe shoe, miss the hands, put your hands down. I get nervous every time a girl does that. Skill.
Is it something you try still?
Yes, I do actually. I just make sure I practice the landing if I'm going to fall. My arms out in front of me instead of underneath me.
It's probably a good strategy. How tough is it to have to miss the rest of the season? Obviously, as a competitor, you don't like missing time off.
I don't, and it's really hard this year because, as from our earlier meets, we've been off to a slower start than last year. And before, I could at least do my best, but now I can only watch.
Yeah, that's got to be tough. And then getting back into condition has got to be tough as well. Especially with an Achilles, what kind of conditioning can you do?
Well, right now I'm already back in the gym. I was in there yesterday doing stomach and arms, stomach conditioning and arm conditioning. I can't start therapy for about a month because I'm still in a cast. And they really want the tendon to really heal before they start doing anything with the Achilles.
Yeah.
So, but I should be running in the summer and hopefully getting back into full gymnastics form by September, October. So that's a pretty good amount of time to be ready for next season.
And you guys also have another gymnast injured out for the season.
Lindsay Ward.
What's going on there? Is she's going to be able to redshirt and
yes,
come
she's
back
a
next
senior
year
this year. She'll be back for next year. She was injured in December. So.
And what is her injury?
With her injury, she tore her ACL.
So another major
injury. Did that in
injury.
December, so we actually should be released about the same time.
Okay.
In a positive light, Lindsay told me that it would be easier for her to come back with me there to push each other in recovery.
As you're both going through rehab and working to get stronger and back into competition form. And for her, while it's got to be tough sitting and watching her teammates compete, at least she's got to rest easy knowing that she's got a lighter schedule next year when she comes back.
Yes. I think it was very hard that she was a senior and it was her last year. For me, I still have 2 full years if I don't take my red shirt, but I have 1 year behind me. So I think it was a little bit harder for Lindsay because this is Sam Sandmeyer's last year as the head coach. She took Lindsay to nationals her freshman and sophomore year.
So
Lindsay was a very big loss this year, so they seem to be getting in the huddle, about to start. Both teams ready to go. Freshman Katie Tiller should be up first for the Broncos.
And on the vault, starting off for the Thunderbirds, is freshman Elise Wheeler, who was last week's WAC Gymnast of the Week. So we'll see how she does. See how she starts out for her team.
Did a beautiful Yurchenko layup full for Elise Wheeler. Katie Teller started her bar team.
There she goes. Katie's another freshman out of Las Vegas. And she's starting, looks like she's starting pretty strong here.
She caught her major release and her transition. All she has left is the dismount.
And she tries to keep her feet underneath her,
fight,
but
didn't make it.
It's all right though. Those fans have her back, and her teammates and coaches there to support her.
She's been trying to work that stick, so I'm pretty sure she thought she had it, didn't quite have it, tried to fight for it. The rest of the team needs to really step it up here, so we don't have to count her score.
You guys have 6 freshmen and 7 sophomores on the team this year, is that right?
Yes, sophomore Brittany Dean this is her first year on the team. Last year she was on our cheer squad.
Oh, okay.
And had been a gymnast in her high school and junior high years. Decided she wanted to come back, and she is a beam specialist and will be exhibitioning tonight on the balance beam.
Okay. So how much does that year of your freshman year, how much of a difference does that make in coming back your sophomore year? You've got experience.
It was definitely a good year for me to get experience. Before I came in, they lost 7 seniors, so it was really put into me and the other sophomores now when we were freshmen
Bit of a
that
rebuilding class.
we were going to be needed. We were going to be into the lineup right away. So this year we only lost 2 seniors from last year. I don't think it was instilled in them how much we needed that, but I think now they're starting to figure it out. How much their scores and how much they're actually going to be in. Here's Katie O'Donnell. She's from Ontario,
Ontario.
Canada.
A Canadians on the team.
Yes, Kristen Aldrich, senior. On her major release, all she's looking for dismount. Very good
She
stick.
sticks the dismount.
Good
Beautiful.
landing for Caitlin O'Donnell.
Great job, and her teammates.
She's been training that event very hard this week to make it into the lineup.
Great job there, and her teammates let her know it too. The crowd behind us are holding up tens.
It was a very good routine for Katie.
Meanwhile, over in the wrestling, there's so much going on here. It's hard to tell what exactly people are cheering for, but it looks like over on the wrestling floor, Cam Jones came from behind and now has a 1-point edge over Tyler Parker. 9-10 with a minute 34 left.
Up next on bars is freshman Diavra Todd. She's changed her bar routine around a little bit tonight, so it should be interesting to see how she does. Looks like a 9.675 for Katie O'Donnell.
So that's a good strong score that
is
the
a good strong
Broncos
score.
need after.
Especially after Katie Teller sitting down her dismount.
Yeah. And with that pressure as a young freshman, how much does it hurt you when you don't stick those landings and let your team down? Is it?
Katie Teller actually has been hitting for us a lot, so it's very unlikely that she missed that. Here's Diavra's biggest skill she hit. And this is a very good routine for Diavra. She
Sticks the landing.
Diavra Todd. They are back. They are really stepping it up. I am so impressed with these freshmen.
They're doing good. They're holding their own.
That high energy must really be working. I saw them doing a little dance before they went over to bars.
And one thing I remember from the last meet I covered is Diavra does like to dance.
She does all the time. She's a very good dancer. Excellent. Her floor team really gets the crowd going.
And here we get ready to see Yvette Lazaret
Another freshman.
going up. So we've seen 4 straight freshmen here on the bars, and Katie Griffiths, a junior, is coming up next after Lazaret. And Boise State's wrestling team just took a 12-3 lead over Stanford as Yvette gets ready to go.
Diavra scores a 9.8. Her highest of the season, I believe.
That is, her previous high was a 9.75, which was done on the 26th of January.
Here goes
And
Yvette. Starts off strong.
This is an event where they really miss you. You're tied with Katie Griffiths for the individual high score this year.
Sat down the dismount after a great routine. Picked out a little late.
She gets up and looks disappointed, but Coach Sandmeyer's there.
We will have to kind of fall on the bars, unfortunately. Yes.
But she had a great routine before that. And
bars is my favorite event. I actually upgraded my routine this year, and I'm glad I got a chance to compete it twice. Lindsay Ward as well is greatly missed on the bars. She as well is an excellent bar worker. Had planned to upgrade her dismount to a full out this year. Unfortunately, she'll hopefully get that chance next year. Bars will be the first event she'll come back with, so. Next year's bar lineup already looks strong.
Good.
After these freshmen
they get another year,
and we have some great freshmen.
Have a lot of sophomores coming
year.
back as juniors, freshmen coming back as sophomores, all with more experience. Definitely can't hurt.
A 9.275 for Yvette Lesrick that we will have to count. Next is Katie Griffiths.
And her high score on the year is a 9.875.
Very nice hop.
Good form.
Transition. She's the only one that's on our team with a big dismount. Half in, half out. Stop!
Beautiful.
Oh, beautiful for Katie Griffiths.
Great job.
Great for her to step it up after we saw Yvette Lesrick sit down her dismount.
And we see Coach Sandmeyer over there getting the crowd into it, trying to persuade the judges by having the crowd chant 10.
Gorgeous routine.
And everybody here at the Taco Bell Arena is very excited tonight.
Last up for the Broncos will be junior Leah Lone, a bar specialist from Washington.
So you guys, you pretty much have a routine for each exercise that you work on throughout the year and work on perfecting it and just getting closer to that 10.
Obviously the 10
that
start
perfect
value
10.
is the ultimate goal, and then even after that, to be competitive with the nationally ranked teams. Just doing clean, big gymnastics. Here goes Aaliyah. Nice invert, Giants. Doesn't make it over. Gonna turn around. Come off.
What kind of point deduction is that gonna?
That'll be a 5-10 deduction, and she was supposed to do a half pirouette out of her inverts into a Tkachev, which she has been hitting. Aaliyah suffered from a respiratory infection and ear infections all week. Didn't get as much training in as she liked, but she looked excellent today in warm-ups. She's supposed to be her Tkachev. She might. Looks like she's going to do it. Try it again, the whole combination. Here she goes. And she catches. Here into her overshoot. She'll finish with a double tuck.
So the stop to gain her composure and get back really is helpful until she isn't able to hold out the landing. But the rest of the performance is very strong.
She actually got back up and did her whole combination again, which has to be tiring from experience.
Yeah.
So to get up and do that whole combination again just to get the bonus after already trying to do it once. Especially after suffering respiratory and breathing problems all week.
Oh, sure.
We had 2 9.8 scores from Diabra Todd and Katie Griffiths, so hopefully after a couple falls, we'll still pull out a good bar score. All 3 falls were on the dismount. So I know in practice next week that's what we're going to be working on. Good to note all major release moves were caught. That's usually the hardest part of the bar routine.
Yeah.
The release move. Up next, an exhibition again is Amber Nero's. Big Shaposhnikova to shoot over.
A lot of momentum carried in that skill there.
Yes, it's a big skill, worth a lot.
Very fast. What kind of toll does a meet take on you guys' bodies? I mean, obviously you guys work on this stuff throughout the week leading up to the event. How tired are you after the event?
I think I'm more mentally tired than anything, and I think for these girls, they just got back from being on the road for 2 weeks with back-to-back meets each weekend, and usually we do 1 week of back-to-back meets and then maybe another weekend later in the season. To have that right at the beginning, back-to-back, really must have been tiring.
Yeah.
The coaches have tried to give them a little bit of rest this week in practice, but they also got some good training in. They're just excited to be home. Hopefully the momentum that they had on vault will carry over to beam. And the momentum was good on bars, just those dismounts again.
And
landings.
What is that usually attributed to? Can it be the surface sometimes? Does the surface sometimes get too chalky and slippery, or?
No, I think with Katie Teller, she was really working for that stick landing. Obviously, you don't want to take a step because that's intense. She's really trying hard, and with her dismount, it was going forward. She was just a little bit short and sat it down. Yvette Lesrek was over-rotated, while Aaliyah Lone under-rotated. Up on the bars is Shanice Kraft, sophomore from Colorado, in exhibition.
Another exhibition, so.
That was a huge Tkachev.
Looks like she's putting together a good routine, and
very good.
Nails her landing.
She got her landing. Little bit of a new routine for Shanice. She's been hitting it in practice this week. They may put her in after that good hit in exhibition this week.
And how difficult is it to change up your routine or add something new mid-season?
It depends. Sometimes you'll change it up and it'll be easier, and you're like, why wasn't I doing that the whole time? Other times it'll be harder, especially upgrades. I would think that Diava's routine, she was getting 2 tenths off for doing 2 squat-ons and not having a transition to the high bar. You're only allowed to do squat-on and jump to the high bar from the low bar 1 time. So she added a hecht mount, put her release later in the routine, which is a little bit harder, but obviously it didn't seem to affect her today because she caught it and hit beautifully.
And after the second rotation, the Broncos maintain their lead, although Southern Utah did gain some ground. The team total now stands at 96.475 for the Broncos and 96.225 for the Thunderhawks. So those 3 falls really did hurt the Broncos there in the bars.
Yes, we had to count 2 of them, and that is a full point that we lost.
Typically, you wouldn't want to keep a 9.025, but when an 8.5 is your next option, you got to drop that. So back to wrestling. What do you know about wrestling?
I know their names.
Oh, well.
I do know the wrestlers' names from Boise State, but I do not know that much about it. I have been to a lot of wrestling matches.
The team score now is tied at 12-12 between the Broncos and the Stanford Cardinals. So I believe the Broncos had to give up 1 weight class because of an injured wrestler, which is never fun to do, but sometimes necessary. And right
now the gymnasts are dancing, hoping to carry that energy over the balance beam. Looks like Diava Todd again who's leading it. Broncos will head to the beam and Southern Utah will head to the floor. Now this will be interesting because there'll be music going on with the wrestling and the gymnastics.
And will the gymnasts still get their music for their floor routine played?
Yes. definitely.
So that
which will add actually just some bigger environment, more distractions, but I usually like when floor music's playing in the background.
You can feed off it as long as it's not something that irritates you.
Exactly.
Services in Verizon Wireless and my Team Bronco, Corey Barton Holmes, Source 1, Boise Office Equipment, Charles Jr., Les Shaw from the Idaho Lodge. Boise State gets
So over there on the wrestling mat is I believe that's Nate Lee. Can you verify that? Nate Lee, a freshman from Payson, Arizona, going up against Luke Feist, a sophomore from Sandpoint, Idaho. And Feist has a lead right now, 4-1, but Nate just got 2 points back with a takedown, and looks like he's getting some near fall points. He's working on a pin. He's got to get that right shoulder down for the pin, but definitely getting some near fall points to take a lead here with the time running out in this last period. And the fans here in the arena keep cheering. They go back and forth between the wrestling and the gymnastics, and
it's especially right now since gymnastics is warming up.
Yeah.
Some exciting wrestling going on.
So Nate Lee, who suffered a tough loss in his last match, able to come back and get ahead here in this match against Feist. He now has a 6-4 lead over Feist as we go into what I believe is the third period, and Lee will start on the bottom. Let's take a look at gymnasts getting ready, getting prepared. They're having a good time.
Stalling warning, Stanford.
That shot right there is a good view of how the arena was set up tonight.
Yeah.
The gymnastics all switched to one side and the wrestling on the other.
Very packed. A lot going on. And you guys, you said that you do enjoy the Beauty and the Beast competitions.
We do.
How does it affect you in terms of just being squished together and being in different, like, especially I know the beam is typically where the wrestling mat is. So
yes.
Does that affect you guys at all, or
not really? If this were a quad meet with 4 teams or even 3 teams going on, I think it would affect us a little bit more because so much would be going on. I think really in a Beauty and the Beast, you can only have 2 teams going up against each other in the gymnastics area because of how
just because of the confinement and everything.
Exactly.
And looking back over at wrestling, it looks like Lee has built himself a 4-point lead. He was started in the down position and got some reversal points. Let Feist out there with gave him an escape point, but came in with a strong takedown and almost had some points. He's still fighting to get around. There he goes, gets the 2-point takedown, making the score 10-5 over there.
After 2 rotations, here are the scores. For Boise State,
15 seconds out, he's just got to try to ride this out and pick up some more points for his team. Coming from California, what made you decide to come to Boise State and be on the gymnastics team here?
Honestly, before my recruiting trip, I didn't know much about Boise, Idaho.
Probably like most people around the country.
I wanted to give it a chance, and I when I came here, on my recruiting trip, I automatically fell in love with it. I knew this is where I wanted to be for my next 4 years.
Well, cool.
So, I definitely love it here. It is a bit of a change from California. I grew up in the Orange County area.
Okay, so a little bit of change, a little bit of pace of life change.
A little bit slower pace. Still a big city part, but it's calm a little bit too.
Yeah.
Looks like the team's in their huddle. For each event, we get together and really get focused for that event.
What kind of words of encouragement does Coach Sandmeyer usually give you guys before each routine, each rotation?
It depends for each event. I think for beam, it's usually to calm down, stay focused, be in the groove, be in the moment. But for floor, it's probably work the crowd, high energy, let's do this. So each event's a little bit different. And we have a little saying that we say every time before we break. Looks like floor is started and Tara Oberg is ready to go on the balance beam.
Just getting ready for her mount.
She's a senior from Minnesota.
This is the first we've seen of Tara tonight.
Yeah, she's a beam specialist. Usually in this first spot, every meet. Oh, right away a fall.
So much of it has got to be mental.
Definitely.
For you
Tara
guys.
rarely falls. I know it's going to affect her after her performance. She had to do that second series there. She normally doesn't do, but after the fall disrupted her first series. She nailed it. Here goes.
Falling early in your routine, is that harder than falling late, or?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. I think that if you fall in the beginning, you have to know you're going to hit the rest because your score could count if there's a fall later. You just really have to nail every skill after that. Hopefully you're nailing them all anyway.
Yeah.
Whether you fall or not. Had a little bit of a break there. A little shaky for Tara tonight. That fall seems to be getting her a bit. There's the dismount. A good stick.
Strong dismount.
A good comeback for Tara after that fall.
She did seem a little bit uncomfortable up on the beam after the fall, but did have a strong latter half of the performance and stuck her landing. So.
Yes, she knew as a senior, she knew that her score might have to count if there's a fall later and that she had to nail the rest of that routine. Falling on her first element. Up next will be junior Katie Griffiths.
And Katie had a real strong performance on the bars.
Yes,
Just last rotation, and she looks focused. She looks ready to go.
She mainly works bars and beam after an injury her freshman year. Almost had to quit the sport, but with a bit of luck, she's able to come back and just does bars and beam now for Boise State.
And what was her injury?
I'm not quite sure. It happened before I got here, so.
Pretty serious though, huh?
Yes.
And for Boise State on the team, next up is Katie Griffiths.
Nate Lee was victorious over Luke Feist, so the Bronco wrestling team takes a 15-12 lead over Stanford. We're getting ready for our second Bronco gymnast over there on the beam as we wait for the judges' scores.
Lindsay Schultz is up for Southern Utah, freshman from Grand Junction, Colorado. Katie Griffiths, Griffey as we call her in the gym, gets ready to go in the balance beam. Here she goes. Their first element coming up here.
And she sticks it.
Very good start for Katie.
She knows it. She's got a smile on her face. She's having fun.
Excellent beam worker. The lead combination coming up here. Sticks that.
Looks like she almost fell there, but was able to
Took a little bobble,
stay on.
I think all she has left is the dismount. Very confident beam worker, Griffey is.
And there she goes. And she sticks the dismount.
Very good routine after the fall from Tara.
She hears it from the crowd.
Sigh of relief there, looks like.
Tara Oberg's score was a 9.05 on her beam routine, so the rest of the girls are definitely going to have to come up big and make up for that, and hopefully we won't have to use that.
Yes, Katie Griffiths was actually WAC Specialist of the Week earlier in the season. It looks like she nailed her 2 events again tonight. She's doing her job for Boise State right now.
Stanford has choice made the first, and Boise State chooses down to begin the second period.
So we wait, and next up is Kristen Aldrich, is that?
Yes, it's senior Kristen Aldrich.
1 point escape Bronco.
Looks like a 9.825 for Katie Griffiths. She scored a 9.8 on the bars earlier. She had a great night.
And are those her only 2 events?
Yes, that's all
she's done for the
she'll
evening.
be competing in this evening.
She's done a good job for her team here tonight, and now just has to sit back and watch and cheer her teammates on as they go for the win over the Thunderbirds of Southern Utah.
Very nice series, Kristen Aldrich. Kristen is a very confident beam worker. You can see it in her skills, the way she lands them. Great leap series. We call that a gymnaco, where it was a leap connected to a gymnastics element. Very nice routine so far by Kristen Aldrich. She is nailing her routine. All she has left is the dismount now.
She looks very confident as she goes for it, and sticks it. Beautiful.
She knows she hit that routine. Kristen is one of our best beam workers. While she was injured in the fall, beam is the event that she mainly worked. She was confident last year. Me and her tied for second at WAC on balance beam.
Oh, great.
And so she's in all WAC on that event.
So it'll be tough to lose her next year, but with all these freshmen and sophomores, hopefully they'll be able to come in and we won't lose any ground there. Great, and
a 9.9 from both, a 9.9
beautiful.
Kristen Aldrich.
So great routine as Katie Griffiths scored a 9.825, and that 9.9 then from Kristen Aldrich is going to be great for the Broncos.
Up next is freshman Caitlin O'Donnell, who we saw in the bars earlier.
1 point escape Stanford.
And she's on.
Celeste Wheeler for Southern Utah. And on the beam for Boise State, Caitlin.
And what elements do you guys have to complete on the beam? What exactly are the requirements for that?
Well, right there, Caitlin O'Donnell was attempting she got her leap series, which is 2 leaps connected, and you have to do a full turn, a series of 2 acrobatic skills. That was her extra element, a D.
Kind of a low landing there, but is able to maintain her composure. And
up next is her series that I was talking about.
Very strong right there. She hears it from the crowd.
She fell on that her last meet, so I bet she's very excited that she nailed it. And there's a smile and a little grin from Caitlin.
So now she just has to work the crowd and get ready for her dismount, which she
Very nice.
Great. The Broncos, after disappointing bar series, are coming back strong here in the beam.
We tried a little bit of a different lineup tonight. Usually Katie Griffiths and Kristen Aldrich are later in the lineup, but since they've been hitting so well, we put them in the beginning.
Does that help build confidence for the rest of you as you're getting ready to go?
To see that the people in front of you have hit takes a little bit of the pressure off. I think before there were some hits or falls in the beginning, so it was a little bit harder for them to hit after. And I think with these freshmen, Caitlin O'Donnell just went in, Diavra Todd that's up next. Hopefully, even though Tara Oberg fell, to have 3 hits in front of you really helps. The momentum mentally is very helps very much.
And improving his mark to 24 and 12.
There's Diavra Todd, a little calmer than usual. Needs to be for the balance beam.
Haven't seen her dancing as much this meet as last time. Maybe it's because there's so much going on.
Looks like a 9.875.
So another great routine by a Bronco gymnast there.
This lineup change definitely helped Boise State tonight. The first 4 left are Diavra Todd and Amber Narrows.
At 197 pounds for Stanford, Jared Boyer.
And we've seen Amber in exhibition a couple times tonight, but this will be her first time competing where her
Diavra Todd saves that. She's been having a little trouble. She changed it. She used to land in 2 feet, changed it to a step out. Had a lot more.
Does that add difficulty? Was that a change that added difficulty to the routine?
Took down difficulty. Layout with the 2 feet is an E, and the step out is a D. But for her, it worked a little bit better. She's been falling on the harder skill. Lowered it a little bit, but she still got a 10th bonus on it. Saved it, stayed on. That's the main goal. Nails her extra leap. Very nice. All she has left is this dismount.
And she's getting ready for it here. And she sticks it. Beautiful. She's excited. Her teammate's excited.
Amber's up next. Like you said, this will be the first event we see Amber in action in.
But she did well in her previous 2 exhibition events, so she's got to be feeling pretty good right now going into this.
I agree. Diavra Todd has hit her 3 events tonight so far, and all she has left is floor, which she definitely is a crowd worker on.
The last time we saw her against BSU, she had a couple of stumbles on her floor routine.
Yes, she didn't have the greatest floor routine, but
she fixed
actually
that.
Trying to upgrade tonight.
So we're going to see some new stuff from her tonight on the floor?
She's trying to upgrade her last pass to a double tuck. She has been hitting on the road.
2 points.
Here in Sacramento, she hit her routine. A 9.575 for Diabra, and here goes Amber. Amber was hurt at the end of season, or more like the middle end of season last year with her Achilles, so unfortunately she won't be able to redshirt, but she did get a lot of competition experience in. Nailed her series.
Nice series there. She looks calm, very concentrated.
For me, the series is the hardest part. To nail that, especially when it's in the beginning, kind of calms you down for the rest of the routine.
And do you prefer typically to save the most difficult stuff for last, or do you like to do it first and get it out of the way so you can kind of get that off your shoulders and know that what you have left is...
Oh, Amber nailed her finale right there. Getting back to your question, my series that I competed was, to me, in my opinion, the most difficult thing in my routine, and I had it first to get it out of the way. But I did have a difficult skill at the end. Amber
She
just
nails
nailed
her.
her beam routine. The Broncos are back. Beam has been our enemy these last few meets, and I know Coach Tina Bird is very pleased with the beam performance tonight. Uncharacteristic fall from Tara, but the Broncos stepped it up after her, and we will not have to count a fall in that event.
Great. And it looks like, judging from the scores of Southern Utah on the floor, it looks like Boise is going to gain some ground here with this, as one of the Thunderbirds scored an 8.95 and another a 9.05. So the Broncos will definitely gain some ground here with their performance, their strong performance at the beam. And
up right now on the floor is Kelly Dangerfield, a sophomore, her last perform on the floor, while Tessa Campbell will be exhibitioning on the beam tonight. Amber Nero scored a 9.75 on the balance beam. So we will drop the 9.05.
Diabra Todd's 9.57 will be our low score. What'd you do?
I don't know, I pressed it. It scared me a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not used to the headset. Kind of fidgeting with it.
They're a little old, they're a little heavy, I think.
My head's a little small for it.
Yeah, is it slipping off? Are you having problems with that? Or?
Here goes Tessa Campbell, her series. That's actually the
Strong.
series I do. She saved that. Her
Looked like she almost fell off
left
the end
foot
there.
was almost off the beam, but she pulled it back up.
And that's a series that you typically
That is the series
use.
that I was competing. So to get that out of the way is very relieving. She nailed her league series.
And Tessa's another sophomore, so you guys have been teammates together for
Yes, she is
2 years now. She's from
Walk-on from
Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Oh, fallen aerial.
Luckily, she is just running exhibition tonight, so I won't count against the Broncos. How tough is it to walk on to a gymnastics team? How many spots do teams typically have leave open for walk-ons?
Usually not many. With Tessa's case, she was our only walk-on in my year. We had the 5 of us plus her, which it doesn't really make a difference. We don't really worry about that. But this year with the freshmen, we had a lot of walk-ons. Only 4 girls are on scholarship, or 3 girls actually. I correct myself. 3 girls are on scholarship. Katie Tuller is a walk-on. She's in the lineup. Let me think who else. Ruthie Pennington, a walk-on, doing very well for the Broncos. She may be able to earn herself a scholarship later as her career progresses, because she is doing an absolutely amazing job for us. She still has the floor to go, and she's planning some upgrades for tonight, but
Ruthie, a freshman from Rick Rao, Oregon.
Rickaroo, I actually don't know how to pronounce that either. She usually says
Probably
Salem
locals
or,
only. It's a
Her parents are here
suburb
tonight, so.
of Salem.
And Raquel Turnbow, another walk-on, was in the vault lineup.
Formerly a former cheerleader for the Broncos.
Yeah, this is Britta Dean.
Oh, I'm sorry. Who? Raquel is who you were.
Raquel, yes. And as well, Leah Lone was also another walk-on. So it was very good to have a lot of walk-ons this year for us. Last year we didn't have as many and we found ourselves a bit short-handed at times. But this year it really worked out for us.
We got a young fan cheering behind us. Makeshift megaphone, having a good time.
They got their Bronco tattoos on tonight.
Yeah, really a great turnout for Bronco fans tonight.
You would think that the distractions would not help on the balance beam, but they nailed game tonight and scored a 48.925, a season high on the balance beam.
Well, that's great. They edge and are now about a full point and a half ahead of Southern Utah going into this last rotation. So that's got to be a good feeling.
Very good. Like I said, we haven't been hitting beam, and to hit that is very appealing. Britta Dean just nailed her beam routine in exhibition. And to exhibition and hit it, then it really helps when you get put in later to have that behind you.
And how tough is it? I mean, obviously there's when you're doing exhibition, there's 6 gymnasts ahead of you, and you've got to compete all year long to work and get better.
Exactly.
So you can break into that competing spot. Does it ever seem overwhelming at times if you're doing exhibition all year, or what typically is the mind frame there? Did you have experience with that last year?
Last year I was exhibitioning on vault for a while, but then, like I said, with injuries, having a short team, I was actually thrown into the lineup and was at the beginning of lineup, so I never really experienced that. Once the girl I got thrown in for got injured, that was when Amber was injured, so I stayed in. So I never really got the experience of exhibitioning. The girls are back to dancing out on the floor. And they're really trying to keep this high energy tonight.
And again, Diavra's in the middle of it.
She is.
Getting them cheered up, talking to them, getting the energy up. Over on the wrestling floor, we have Matt Casperson taking on Jared Boyer. And he has a 7-1 lead on Boyer right now. And Taylor's taking a timeout to celebrate and get excited with her teammates from a distance. So they're out there dancing, and Taylor's up here dancing with limited motion. Got to keep those going. There's a lot of them going on here tonight. There's great energy in the arena tonight, and a great turnout again by Bronco fans. So whether you're at home watching this online, or you're here tonight and watching it later, thanks for coming out and supporting Bronco Gymnastics and Broncos Wrestling. We look to have a strong night here tonight. The wrestling team has a 19-15 edge team score over Stanford in going into the last match, and the Bronco Gymnastics team is also ahead going into the final rotation. So we could come out of here with 3 victories tonight, and that would be great for Boise State.
It would definitely be great. It would be great for us to have a win to build our confidence. We need that. I just want to give a quick shout out to my dad. My mom's here in the stands watching. She came up for my surgery, but my dad found out I was going to be commentating, so he's tuning in online.
Oh, excellent. Good evening, sir. Gave
me some tips.
And have they worked out for you tonight?
They have.
Excellent, excellent. It's a good answer. I know I would be lost without you. I had to do the first wrestling match and knew nothing about wrestling, and I know even less about gymnastics. So definitely a lifesaver here tonight, as our other commentator couldn't make it. So thanks a lot for showing up and helping me out here.
It's fun. I'm a communications major, so this gives me some experience in this kind of work, and something I know I'm passionate about. I know everything about it.
Yeah, definitely makes it easier to sit and talk about it.
Yeah.
It's got to be tough. Luckily tonight, your teammates are all doing well, and
they are.
And you don't have to get disappointed, but it's definitely got to be tougher when you've got a vested interest in what's going on too.
True. Very true.
And what do you plan on doing with your communications major?
Well, I'm gonna be minoring in marketing, and honestly, I don't have anything in particular picked out. Kind of gonna see when the time comes. If I'm able to redshirt, I might stay here and go to grad school at Boise State, but I'm not sure yet. I'm just still a little bit up in the air because I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I really like advertising, some film stuff. The intro at the beginning of the competition on the
stream?
Yes, on the stream. Up there. I actually helped create that and edit that.
Oh, okay. The intro video for you guys?
Did a little work with that.
Well done.
And now, here are the team scores going into the fourth event. Southern Utah University with 143.575. Boise State with 144.90.
Closing up the warm-up period here for the gymnastics, and over on the wrestling mat, it looks like Andy Patrick is taking on Philip Dorner, 5'17" junior from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And in the second period, Patrick is throwing him around, as Boise State tends to do against people from Oklahoma. little football reference there. Everybody's still pretty high on that Fiesta Bowl victory.
Did you get to go?
I didn't go.
I went.
How was it?
Me and teammate Kristen Aldrich were allowed to go. We missed one day of practice, and it was amazing. My parents went. They flew from Southern California, and it was amazing experience. The crowd here is cheering Boise State back and forth. Getting the high energy going. It looks like freshman Caitlin O'Donnell that we saw on the bars and the bouncing beam will be first up tonight.
She had strong performances in both of those, and hopefully will carry over to the floor as we close out the night. On the wrestling floor, Andy Patrick is down a point as he allowed Dorner to escape. And here comes Caitlin.
Strut out to the floor tonight.
Oh, that wasn't even part of her routine.
No, it wasn't. This little.
That was just setting her attitude, getting ready, and here she goes. Music starts and does a little bit, some disco robot moves there.
For all those who remember, this was actually last year's senior Katie Dinsmore's music that she recycled and kept in Boise State tradition.
And there's Caitlin's first approach, and
stays on her feet but goes out of bounds.
What's the difference for point deductions there as she goes into her second pass?
I believe it's 1/10, but because she stepped out with both feet, I believe they'll take 2.
Okay. And
in the floor score, that's going to be a big setback. She nailed her second pass. It won't be as bad as fall
stronger team coming up for her third pass. And she nails that, so she'll have a slight deduction for going out of the legal area, but
it'll be a good start for the Broncos. Courtney Octor, sophomore from Greensboro, North Carolina, also my roommate, will be up next.
And is she a floor specialist? We haven't called her name tonight.
She trains on the beam and bars as well, but tonight we'll be only seeing her on the floor.
Okay.
She's a gorgeous floor worker. This is a newly choreographed routine for her by volunteer coach Patty Resnick. Neil and Patty Resnick are new coaches this year for the Broncos, and I know Neil from my club days in Region 1, so he's close friends with my club coach and nationally known. So
great, and he'll be taking over next year.
I believe so.
Coach Sandmeyer's absence.
I saw a fall over on beam from Southern Utah, so it doesn't seem like they're getting off to a great start over there.
Perfect. And with about 20 seconds left in his wrestling match, Andy Patrick has a 1-point edge. So it looks like Boise State's wrestling team is going to escape with 2 victories tonight. Taylor's trying to cheer her roommate on, but she seems focused.
It looks like because Katie O'Donnell ended with only a C skill, she had a start value of only a 9.8. And because of those out of bounds steps, she scores a 9.075. Courtney's first coming pass is double tap. She stays on her feet and stays in bounds.
Great job.
Great smile
by
from
Courtney. She's very excited about that first pass.
Ladies and gentlemen, the final score of the Boise State Broncos 22. The Stanford Cardinal on the team. Victory, Boise State advances to 10-3 goals this season.
Quickly turn over to wrestling. The Broncos did beat the Stanford Cardinals, so they get out of here with two victories tonight, and their overall Pac-10 record improves to 6-2.
Her second pass.
It's Courtney nails her second pass.
All she has left is her final tumbling pass.
And she started her floor routine with a 9.9 difficulty. Is that correct?
She should be at a 10. We're looking at the back of the card. But she has to nail this last pass for it to be a 10-0 start. She stayed on her feet. Last week she was in both meets over the weekend and fell both times on that pass, so I know she is very relieved to have nailed that floor routine, especially
she looks very excited.
With the low score from Caitlin O'Donnell. That really brings the Broncos up because she should have a 10-0 start value.
Boise State home wrestling season for 2006-2007.
This is the part we don't like because wrestling is over. People leave.
Still looks like most of the people were here to watch gymnastics, or at least will stick around to watch gymnastics.
Yeah,
well, there was a good amount of people leaving from the wrestling section over there.
They had 2 victories tonight from wrestling.
Very good for our wrestling team as they move up the ranks in the Pac-10 conference.
Probably mentally that helps the gymnasts because just the vibe and the energy from having wrestling win probably helps us, I would think. Up next is Ruthie Pennington, who's planning some upgrades tonight, so she should be interesting. She has a great floor routine as well.
Ruthie's previous high score on the floor is a 9.85, again tied with you for first place this year. So now you can just sit back and watch them as they try to beat your highs for the year.
I hope they do, honestly. I want them to be getting
them-
those 9.9s because that's what we need.
Yeah, definitely.
Courtney's score is a 9.625. She'll definitely help us.
The floor will sustain the score for Dr. 96.25.
She nails her first pass.
her first pass.
That front tuck through was her upgrade.
So it worked out well for her. She nails it. Puts
Now
it
we'll
in
give her
the first
confidence
class.
in the next meets that she nailed that one. Another upgrade. Gonna do a double. Oh no, she took it out, saving probably both upgrades. She was gonna, or in practice, she's been training a double tuck that second pass. I think Coach Neil Resnick wanted her to nail the first upgrade. So far, having a great routine.
Yeah, she did nail that first upgrade. So hopefully in the future she'll have the confidence to throw that second one in and improve. But again, she has a 10.0 start value.
She's working the crowd a bit. All she has left is her final pass.
There she goes.
Nails it.
Great job.
A great routine from Ruthie.
She gets up with a smile.
A 9.875 over on the beam for Southern Utah will keep them up
Just for
after a,
the conclusion of the autograph
looks like a fall. They seem to be having a pretty good start on the balance beam while Broncos are having a good start on the floor, so it'll be interesting to see how it all works out in the end.
Yeah, and we wait for Ruthie's score, and Diabra Todd gets ready for her floor routine. Broncos' only overall performer
The Boise State men's
tonight.
basketball team will
Each team has 3 gymnasts left on their apparatuses, so
Montana Western right here
that's where we are.
Bell Arena at 7 p.m. Come on,
Diabra's hit 3 of her events tonight. All she has left is this one, which I think is my favorite to watch because she really gets the crowd going.
Yeah,
It's a very classy but still fun routine. A 9.75 for Ruthie Pennington. And here goes Diabra. Right away, she grabs your
As
attention.
for Boise State on the floor, Diabra Todd.
and
She's smiling.
there's a bit of that excitement.
Nailed her first pass. A little bit of a bounce out of it, but she kept it under control where it wasn't. She didn't lose control and go out of bounds or fall.
No major fouls,
Exactly.
so should stay at the high score. She goes in for her second pass. She nails that as well. So
That was supposed to be a layout pull on her second layout. She kind of slipped a little bit, but saved it and decided to do the layout, which was probably a smart idea, considering that she stayed on her feet. If she would have done the full, she might not have made it around.
and as you pointed out earlier, it's always best to stay on your feet.
Exactly. There she is working the crowd again. Showing off her Atlanta side. She nails her upgrade for the night. That's very good upgrade.
And she comes out of it dancing, very
She has
excited,
nailed all 4 of her events
pumping the
tonight.
crowd. And the crowd loves her.
I think this was the first time she nailed all 4. She went 4 for 4, and that's how it should be. A 9.925 over on the beam. I saw a little bit of the routine, and it was gorgeous.
So
From
with
Leah
some,
Sakatab.
so with some strong performances over on the beam, the Broncos really need that great performance by Diabra Todd, which was virtually flawless. They need these high scores to maintain their lead and keep the Broncos with a clean sweep of the evening. The Southern Utah Thunderbirds are putting up some pretty high scores over there on the beam. Some nice routines from them.
They seem to be coming back into focus after having a little bit of a hard time on the floor. They traveled only 8 gymnasts, and to fill 6 spots for every lineup is pretty tough with only 8 gymnasts. Had a little bit of some setbacks. I don't know what exactly, but
if anybody goes down, though, you're in trouble, though, carrying only 8 gymnasts.
Definitely, and I think they experienced that a little bit earlier this year.
What are they ranked in the WAC? Do you know?
I don't. A 975 for Diablo Todd. Here goes Yvette Lazarek. They're higher than us. I know that. I believe they're second or third. I think right now Utah State currently holds the lead.
So this would be a huge win if we can come out of here with a victory over these guys.
I'm not quite sure on my rankings, but I know that Southern Utah is doing good. Gorgeous double tuck, stayed in bounds from Yvette, giving a little bit of a smile there.
She's working the crowd, and her teammates are getting into it on all sides of the floor.
Yep, they are. Floor is the event where we can usually really get into it with them. Another 9-9 over on beam. Southern Utah is hitting their balance beam. That Leslie gets a second pass. Gorgeous front layout to front layout full.
It seems like the floor event is the event where you guys can express yourselves more so than in the other events. There seems to be a bit more reflection of personality in the floor event than
when I was in high school in club gymnastics, I hated floor. Honestly, I never did good on floor. I was good at it, but I always got nervous. Took steps, went out of bounds, had some falls. Floor is not my event, but coming to college, I absolutely love floor, especially at home.
Which shows in your 985.
The crowd
and
doing
that
it
had
for
a
your
great
school and for the people really helps. That had a great performance.
Great routine there by Yvette Lazarek. And we go into our final gymnast, Kristen Aldrich.
Kristen Aldrich, senior.
And
who is also planning another upgrade. We've had 5 girls stay on their feet, though we hope to drop Caitlin O'Donnell's 9075. And Southern Utah just nailed their last routine. They hit balance beam.
So
they will not have to
they're celebrating over there, and we still have one more gymnast to go. It's going to be a close one. But a lot of the crowd has stuck around and are here to cheer on the Broncos.
Looks like Yvette scored a 985.
Which is great. That's a high score for a Bronco gymnast on floor tonight. Much needed.
Highest tonight as well.
And
very good routine for her.
And that is a new high for Yvette this season. So great night for her. And here goes Kristen with her floor performance.
Her parents are in the stands watching her tonight.
Great first pass by Kristen.
She's a gorgeous floor worker. This is a new dance routine for her, choreographed again by Patty Resnick. That seems to really work for her. I think she's planning to upgrade this pass right here.
Sticks it. Beautifully done.
All she has left is her final pass. upgrading again to get that 10-0 start value. And also it just makes the routine a lot better in the judges' eyes. Let's see if she can pull it out. She's been nailing it in practice.
There she goes.
Oh, so close. She actually over-rotated it. I think she was a little bit cautious about under-rotating, so pulled up her chest a little bit too much and sat it down.
She doesn't look very happy, but overall a great performance, great routine by Kristen.
Hopefully she'll nail that in the future.
Yeah, it looked like she did just barely over-rotate it, and almost looked like she was coming up to celebrate when she fell back. So
again, I think she's a little cautious of under-rotating. Pulled up her chest and couldn't save it, but still should be a good score since her first 2 passes were absolutely gorgeous.
They were. And as we wait for the last score for Kristen Aldridge and the final score for the Southern Utah Thunderbirds.
This definitely was a better night for the Broncos. We should post a higher score than we have in the past. Hopefully breaking into this 193 range. I'm waiting for them to add in Kristen Aldrich's score, but Kristen scored a 9.325. Hopefully we will drop Katie O'Donnell's 9.075, barely breaking into the 193. Up next is Michaela Barr in exhibition. The Broncos are pretty happy tonight, again breaking into that 193 range from previous 191. Michaela nails her first pass. She's actually a walk-on from Boise, Idaho, Nampa to be exact, which is just right outside Boise.
Not many local girls on the team.
Only 2. Ashley Rainbach is the other girl. She's also from Nampa, and she's my other roommate. So it helps to have an Idaho native.
Show you the ropes and show you around.
She knows Boise a little bit more than I do. There goes Michaela in her second pass.
And if those are the final scores, it looks like Boise State is going to come out with a win with a total of 193.2 against Southern Utah's 192.975. So great performance by the Bronco Gymnasts tonight as they beat the higher-ranked Southern Utah Thunderbirds.
I think this will really help our confidence that we pulled out a win, because especially against a conference member. Michaela stays on her feet, goes out of bounds. We lost earlier in the season to other WAC members, Cal State Fullerton, Utah State, and San Jose. So this win really means a lot to the girls, I know, just for confidence-wise. They'll travel to Texas next week in a meet against Texas Women's.
So, with the final score of 193.2 to 192.975, the VSU Gymnasts do edge out a victory over their WAC conference opponents. As Taylor was saying, a great boost for the team, for their confidence going into the latter half of the season coming up here.
Especially breaking into that 193 range again, coming from 191. Hopefully in the RQS, which is the official rankings that get us into regionals, we can drop a 187, which we started out with.
At 7 p.m. when they host San Jose.
So that's for the overall yearly point totals.
And we count 6 scores towards RQS, and they'll throw out a lower score, 187 from our first meet, and definitely move ahead in the rankings and the overall rankings.
Great, and so 193 is the.
It's pretty average score. I mean, the teams like Georgia and Alabama have been scoring in the 197s, which
out of 200 possible.
Exactly, yes.
Okay, so
we've been in the 190, 191 range to boost up into that 183 is great, especially having to count 2 falls on the bars. That would lead us into the 194, and there's still so much to improve. We really saw a couple upgrades tonight that helped us, and leading into the WAC championships and regionals will definitely help us.
Well, great. Again, a great performance overall by the Broncos tonight as they edge out the victory over the Thunderbirds. Really strong performances all around. A couple of slip-ups in the bar routine, but other than that, strong performances all around, which is shown in that 193 score. So great job to all the girls.
Great performance by Diarra tonight, going 4 for 4 again. That really boosted her confidence. I do believe she hadn't hit all 4 events in one meet yet, so that really helped her, and she needs to do that every time now. So
yeah,
she knows what it feels like.
So a great night for Broncos sports here tonight, as the Boise State wrestling team goes 2-0, defeating conference rivals Stanford and UC Davis, and then another conference rivalry between with the Gymnastics taking on Southern Utah. So a great job overall for Bronco Athletics tonight. We thank you guys for tuning in, those of you that listened live tonight online. If you guys want to check this out again, we will be showing these events again later on University Television Productions. So tune into those, and thanks again for watching. I'm Ryan Nowak. Thanks to Taylor Jacobs for coming in. She did a great job on her first night.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for coming. Have a good night.